Breaking political fire in PNG. Former Prime Minister Peter O'Neill has accused current PM James Marape of leading the country into deep debt and economic confusion. O'Neill's hard-hitting statement claims Marape is blaming everyone but himself, while the nation struggles with significant debt, high unemployment, and a rising cost of living. This isn't merely another political argument, it's a clash between two leaders, both claiming to have PNG's best interests at heart. However, O'Neill's recent remarks carry an unusual weight, cutting deeper than previous criticisms and highlighting serious concerns. He specifically points to the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, which he states is now deeply worried about PNG's rapidly expanding national debt. According to O'Neill, the IMF has explicitly instructed the government to reduce the national debt back to approximately 35% of GDP. This target level is precisely where it stood in 2019, before Marape's administration took office and, O'Neill claims, nearly doubled it to 60%. O'Neill quoted Marape saying, "Last week, Marape claimed he didn't know where 56 billion kina had gone and blamed everyone but himself." He continued, "This week, he's back to blaming my government," highlighting a perceived pattern of deflection. O'Neill further accused Marape of consistently repeating the same pattern, making grand promises under various new slogans. These slogans include Take Back PNG, Reset PNG, the Marape Manifesto, and Connect PNG, each intended to signal a new direction. O'Neill's message is unequivocal. After 14 years in leadership, first as finance minister and then as prime minister, Marape can no longer shift blame to others. This statement truly strikes a nerve, given Marape's extensive history within the government. Indeed, Marape served as finance minister under Peter O'Neill for 8 years before his departure in 2019. During his time as finance minister, he was directly involved in signing off on major budget allocations and significant loan arrangements. Therefore, when Marape claims he inherited a broken economy, his critics are quick to question whether he himself contributed to its state. O'Neill is actively pressing this apparent contradiction, asserting that after 14 years in power, it is now time for Marape to take full responsibility. At the very core of this political and economic storm is the International Monetary Fund, which serves as Papua New Guinea's most significant external economic referee. In June 2025, the IMF formally proposed that Papua New Guinea should anchor its public debt within a range of 30% to 40% of its GDP. O'Neill contends that this specific demand unequivocally proves one thing: the honeymoon period with the IMF is definitively over. He claims the IMF's message to the Marape government was stark and unambiguous: no money, no loan. This means no further debt will be extended until PNG successfully restores its financial discipline and stability. O'Neill states, to access new funds, the Marape government is taking control of state-owned enterprises like Kumu Petroleum Holdings. He also points to the selling of shares in MVIL to create the National Banking Corporation, describing these as desperate measures. O'Neill views these actions as a desperate attempt by Marape to access public funds after international lenders have effectively closed their taps. He contrasts this sharply with his own record, asserting that in 2019, PNG had a smaller GDP, yet people's lives were demonstrably better. Under his leadership, he claims the nation wasn't buried in debt and its economy wasn't unduly tied to foreign interests. Let's look into the numbers to understand the stark differences between the two administrations. Under O'Neill's government in 2019, Papua New Guinea's national debt stood at approximately 25 billion kina, which was roughly 35% of its GDP. However, under Marape's leadership, this figure has dramatically climbed to 65 billion kina, now representing around 50% of GDP. O'Neill argues that this difference isn't just about raw numbers. It fundamentally reflects differing priorities and approaches to governance. He asserts that under his leadership, PNG delivered more essential infrastructure, including roads, bridges, schools, and hospitals. Crucially, these developments were funded primarily with the nation's own resources, not through reliance on foreign loans. O'Neill concludes by stating, in 2019, politicians and foreigners were not the priority, our people were. This ongoing political and economic debate underscores the critical choices facing Papua New Guinea as it navigates its future. The contrasting visions of O'Neill and Marape will undoubtedly continue to shape the country's economic trajectory and its people's welfare. Subscribe to our channel for more political insights.